All right, welcome to Penn Sports Podcast. This is Frank Edgar.
This is Wube Gabre.
Wube, a good spring break week, kind of quiet on the sports front, but still lots of news out there, and we're going to talk to a few guests today.
Yeah, well, it gives the kids a week off, give them a chance to kind of re-energize themselves during the spring break. But you're right, we have two great guests. We have a good friend of the program, Wayne Gomes, ODU Hall of Famer, Lower Peninsula Athletic Sports Hall of Famer. So, and then head coach Erik Wilson of the Lady Crabbers on the softball side.
Well, this week we reached out to a few coaches, and we're really pleased with the enthusiasm we receive, and we're looking forward to trying to get all of these coaches on. We can't get more than a couple on each week, but thank you so much, coaches, for being willing to share your information. I want to thank, of course, our hosts, Goldstein, Edgar, and Regan, here in the Goldstein Studios up in Newport News, and our producer, of course, Randy Bagoli, doing a great job getting the sound just right. Hope it works this evening. Good stuff around the area everywhere. We just don't have a lot of scores this week, and, of course, the team's been battling the rain, and, of course, the 1 week where we probably could have gotten games in, it's spring break.
Yeah, I mean, they just made up all the games. Last week? A lot of teams were playing 4 or 5 games last week, so it's a well needed rest for a lot of the kids. But for us, not good on the podcast side. We can't talk about many games, but we'll make it up next week, I'm sure.
Well, we go from games to Gomes. Let's see if we can't get Wayne Gomes on the phone and let him fill us in on what he's doing over there at Virginia Baseball Academy.
All right, we're now joined by the Old Dominion University Hall of Famer and the Lower Peninsula Hall of Famer, Wayne Gomes. Thanks for joining us, Wayne.
Man, thanks for having me, Wobe.
So,
well, Wayne, hey, this is Frank. Great to be with you again. I want to talk. Yeah, I want to talk to you a little bit about what you've been doing these days. You and I don't think we've even had our Christmas meal yet. So,
man, look, if I send you 10 texts and you don't respond to them, man, I just have to just you don't love me no more. So
don't feel bad. I'll text him on Monday and get a response on Friday, Wayne. I know how it is.
This is what I'll do. I'll text Wobe, and Wobe, you be like the mediator, all right? And then you'll get back. I'm sure he responds to your text because you guys are all fancy dancy doing podcasts and everything.
Well, somehow that means he's going to end up at the table with a couple of crab cakes and some broccoli. That's what worries me. What's been keeping you busy, Wayne?
Well, man, Virginia Baseball Academy. I've had around in my 10th year, and I train kids, and teams come in for cage rentals, which they've always done, and I appreciate all the support I've gotten in the Hampton Roads area. But for the most part, my time is taken up by Ethos, which stands for Empowerment Through Healing Ourselves. And with that is I deal with kids who are 6 to 18 years old, who are dealing with some mental health challenges, their life, or whether it be their financial situation or mental health situation, or maybe they may bring some gang violence or some sex abuse violence. So kids have a variety of issues, and what we do is they come into our program and we try to stabilize the situation best we can.
And you're doing that down nearby in Hampton?
Yeah, we actually have 2 locations. We have one location that I do most of my stuff during the day. And that's 1322 location. I have another office that's about 2 miles up the street, and that's off Coliseum Drive in a place called Commerce Drive.
So Wayne, you're doing some work here with the kids in the community, and you now for folks that don't know you actually come from Phoebus High School, right?
Correct. I come from the best high school in the Hampton Roads area.
I didn't know you went to Hampton.
No, yeah, I'm from Hampton, and I went to Phoebus High School. Yes.
Yes. Now, you made your way to Old Dominion, played baseball over there, had just a whale of a career. You're a Bud Matheny Award winner over there.
Correct.
Tell the kids who are in Phoebus and Hampton and Kecoughtan and Bethel and all the other high schools on the peninsula, what was the secret of you getting out of Phoebus and into Old Dominion to play baseball?
Ooh, oh man. You know what? It's kind of it has so many different layers to it, Frank. First of all, I didn't get into Old Dominion until literally about 2 weeks before school to start. I didn't enroll into Old Dominion. I was supposed to go to the Newport News Apprentice School, and the only reason I hadn't started the Newport News Apprentice School was because I wasn't old enough. I was 17 years old, and you had to be at the time 18 years old. I don't know if that's still the case now, but that was the case back umpteen years ago. So, but I had qualified academically to get in Old Dominion. I had been accepted. I just chose not to go there because I just thought the apprentice school would be a better fit. It would allow me a chance to play baseball, allow me a chance to learn a trade, and allow me a chance to get an education. And I just felt like that was a good fit. So I was already accepted in the Old Dominion, and so I was playing summer league. I was playing American Legion, and I had a really good game. And it just happened to be the same night that Old Dominion scout was there. And the next day, he offered me a scholarship to go to Old Dominion. So I guess the answer is several-fold. And what I mean by that is I was academics. I had already been accepted. The love of the game, I loved playing. I loved being a part of something, and I was playing. And it was an all-star game, and I did well. So, just a desire to play the game, academically stay eligible and grind there. And, every time you go out to a baseball game, try to win. I mean, try to win and try to find a way to help your ball club win. I see, the money is so rampant now with these guys are getting, everybody is wrapped up into getting the draft and getting this money. And I get that. I understand that part of it. However, it's the team sport, in which if you turn to an individual sport, you kind of separate yourself as not being the team guy and not being somebody that your teammates want to be a part of.
Well, Wayne, you mentioned the draft. Let's talk about the draft. You were the 4th overall pick back then.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about what it took to be a college athlete, but what did it take to be a professional athlete after your days at Old Dominion?
Well, to be a professional athlete, it took a lot of work. The reason why I say that, well, babe, is because once you get to the professional ranks, everybody is so good. It was kind of easy after my freshman and sophomore year to distance myself from the rest of the pack when I was in college. But when you're in pro ball, you go out there and like everybody's good. Everybody's really good, and you got to try to distance yourself from that pack too. And separate yourself and just do a little more. And I did that with hard work, man. I really did. I think I just outworked everybody and grinded more than anybody, and I wanted it. I took care of my off the field life correctly, and I just made some good decisions. I made my share of bad ones also, but for the most part, I was focused on making it to the big ones.
Yeah, let me ask you, Wayne. You've been back in the area for 10, 12 years. What's what brought you back home after this great career in the major leagues?
Oh, Frank, actually, man, there was no other options. I love Hampton, man. They're gonna bury me here somewhere. I'm never leaving. I'm in love with the area. I'm in love with the people, the diversity and how our community is growing in the right direction. I don't know what it is, but I love being able to see people every day that I know and have relationships with. It's just home for me, and my wife has made it home for her too. And we're really happy and entrenched in the community, and we love being a part of it. Our kids are going to Hampton University. Well, my son's going to Hampton University in a few months, and my daughter, she's on campus right now, hanging out. I think she's kind of leaning towards that too. So. I call it when somebody ask me where I'm from, I say God's country because I really love the area.
Now, Wayne, talk to us a little about some of the landscape of baseball right now. What you've seen with a lot of these young kids out there. Have you get a chance to watch any of the games so far?
What, the high school games?
Yeah.
I do. I've been a couple, and I was kind of hoping to see one Thursday. I thought some teams were coming out of town on Thursday. What's today? Friday? Maybe it was Wednesday. Yeah, I thought teams from Prince George was coming up to play War Memorial. I don't know what happened to those games. They said it was supposed to rain or something, but I was looking forward to seeing that. I watch a good amount of the teams I can when I can pull away. I enjoy it. I like the caliber of baseball we play in this area.
Wayne, are you seeing anything new in the game, or are you seeing just the successful players doing the things they've had to do for years and years in baseball to succeed? Is there any new gadget, gizmo, or style of play?
There's a little bit of style of play that's changed. The bunt is gone, which used to be a really big part of National League Baseball. That's gone. The higher ups in baseball are not baseball guys any longer. They're Ivy League grads, and the analytics of the game have really taken over some of the strategy, how it's changed a little bit. The bunting, stealing bases, pitching out. There's a lot of teams who don't want to take a chance of stealing the base and losing an out. There's a lot of teams don't want to take a chance on bunting and losing an out. Those are just two major things I see in the game, and I see they constantly trying to speed the game up, which I don't know where there is to go. I don't know what the big rush is, but it is what it is. So the speeding the game up and the lack of bunting, stealing, and pitching out is what I see the biggest changes so far lately.
Now, Wayne, tell the community if you still do any individual workouts in the area for baseball, if you have a chance to get in touch with anybody or they want to get in touch with you.
Yeah, they can always call the academy. My website is VirginiaBaseballAcademy.com. Everything is right there, and I'll be glad. I still take a lesson or two here and there. I had one today. I got a couple this weekend. I enjoy working with kids. So.
Well, it's been great having you back here in the community, Wayne, and you add so much to our sports community around here. And I certainly want to thank you for joining the show this afternoon. People, if you want to contact Wayne Gomes, call him at the Virginia Baseball Academy right there on LaSalle Avenue, and he'll certainly help you get to that next level,
That's right.
especially with your pitching.
Well, thanks for having me.
Thanks,
Anytime,
Wayne.
Guys.
Hey, Wayne, right. I'll be your liaison for Frank. Just keep that in mind.
Please do, man. Yeah, please do. It's like another secretary. So because he won't return my phone calls.
It's going to cost me two crab cakes one way or another. One way or another, it's going to cost me 2 more crab cakes.
All right. Thanks, my man. Thanks, Wayne. Appreciate it.
Well, it's always good to hear from Wayne Gomes. And, for the parents out there with some young ball players, it's an excellent place to start with some individual lessons from a major league relief pitcher.
I'm just getting ready to say that. I mean, he's made it to the highest level. He's been where a lot of these kids want to go. So to get the advice and the knowledge from someone like Wayne, I mean, that's so instrumental for our young players' progress.
And for players up and down the peninsula, they should note. I mean, everybody thinks Phoebus High School, they think football.
Right.
Wayne Gomes came out of Phoebus High School.
Absolutely.
And went to Old Dominion, which has had a great baseball program for a long time. But he goes to Old Dominion, and he just does everything you could possibly do as a student athlete at Old Dominion, and ends up in the pros.
The one thing he said, though, Frank, is he outworked his opponents and his teammates, and that should not go unnoticed. A lot of these kids think the talent will get you there, but you have to still do the work to get there. And before he got to Old Dominion, he was going to the apprentice school, and he couldn't get in because of age restrictions. So he ended up getting a last camp like in August, right before school was getting ready to start.
Maybe in a Legion Ball.
Legion
game.
Ball, right?
Yeah.
And then he gets the scholarship offer to Old Dominion. 3 years later, he's number 4 pick overall from Phoebus High. So, like you said, I mean, it can happen. You just have to go out there and grind, like you said, and work hard. And work harder than everybody else to get there. Well,
and he's also a guy that the players can approach and talk about things like playing their best in every game because you never know who's watching.
Absolutely, and now he's flipped over to the mental health side where we find a great transition because he can help a lot of these kids, on the high school level, dealing with a lot of things that are going on, not only sports but from the mental health side as well.
And just for the City of Hampton's Convention and Tourism Board, yes, we'll be glad to let you use the clip of Wayne Gomes telling you how much he loves living in Hampton.
We won't charge much, right?
I feel the same way about my hometown, but it's so nice to see people come back to our communities here in southeastern Virginia.
Well, I mean, look where he's played, Frank. He's been to San Francisco, Boston. I mean, he's been
Philadelphia.
Yeah. He could have stayed anywhere in those cities or overseas or wherever he could have been. But he decides to come back home, help the community with the academy, now help the community with the mental health and the ethos.
Well, he's using a facility down there that he constructed in the old Pembroke High School, and thank goodness he did. It's brought life to that building, that part of the building.
But I think you owe him a few dinners, Frank. I don't know what's going on with that.
Yeah, this thing is costing me a lot of money here. All right, we're joined this afternoon by Coach Erik Wilson, the head girls softball coach over at Hampton High School. Coach Wilson, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be on the line with you.
Well, it's great to hear from the counterpart to Danny Mitchell. We had Coach Mitchell on last week, and they're naming a field after him. And I understand you're on your way this year to getting a field named after yourself. You got off to a pretty good start over there.
Yes, I'm definitely trying to, and that's a great honor to be compared to Coach Mitchell. I love it. He's a great guy.
Coach, all you have to do is cut the grass over there for like 45 years. I think they will do that for you.
And it's funny because I often joke with Coach Smith, the football coach, saying, I'm chasing his state title record. And he told me the same thing. He said, "You got a long way to go."
Well, that's it. When you're at Hampton High School, there's a lot of long timers over there.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, Coach, you're actually a Hampton graduate.
Yes, I am. I graduated from Hampton High School in 1994.
Well, tell us what brings you from that point back to the Crabber headquarters over there and as the softball coach.
Yes, I actually served as a teacher over at Hampton High School. I'm a history teacher, and I've been at Hampton High for 12 years now. And basically, it just kind of seemed like a good fit. I lived in Detroit, Michigan prior to me moving back to Hampton, Virginia, when I was a teacher in Detroit. And opportunity came up to teach at my alma mater, so I definitely jumped into it both feet and loved it. My second or third year teaching, I was approached by the former softball coach, Miss Judy Lucas, and she needed some help on the field. So that was kind of what got me started. And, ever since then, just started working with the program, building relationships with the ladies, and just kind of keeping everything going. So when Judy retired, she approached me, actually prior to her retirement, she approached me and asked me if I'd be interested in taking over as head coach. And I was kind of honored. I said, wow, I would love to. And I appreciate you even thinking about me for this option.
And Coach, this is your 6th year. What makes this year a special one in terms of you start getting a good start so far in the season?
Well, I think each year you get better. And I will tell you, my first year was a struggle. I don't even remember what my record was. First year, probably like 2-16. But I guess with each year, you building a better program. And that's my goal, and it's a vision that I share with the athletic directors, a vision that I share with Chris, and a vision I share with my girls. And I say each year, I want this program to progressively become better. And, with each year, it's just like anything with life, tomorrow is not going to be the same as today. You learn from your mistakes. You learn from your errors from days previous, and each day you get better. So I'm trying to do the same thing with the softball team. So each year we're getting better. We're starting out the season 3-3. A couple of games we weren't able to play this year because of just the rainy weather we had at the start of the season. But I'm definitely looking forward to getting those games in and getting a few more wins.
Well, I understand you've got some help over there in the form of Chris Farrow, who brings not only some softball experience, but he brings a daughter to play for the Crabbers.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about your relationship with Chris, and then your the way that y'all have developed his daughter Lauren into a pitcher.
Absolutely, Chris. I first met Lauren when Lauren was in 8th grade, and I just remember her coming up, and over the years, I've developed a relationship with the Farrows just because of their involvement in softball, and they have an older daughter who graduated from Hampton High last year, Katie Farrow. And Katie also served as a softball player. She was my catcher. But Lauren, I first saw her 8th grade year, and she had promise. So the following year, when she was a 9th grader, she was eligible to play varsity. So, of course, I definitely brought her up. She was a true asset to the team. And Chris is phenomenal. Chris brings a wealth of knowledge, understanding of the game. And I guess the best part about it, the most difficult thing is trying to coach a team by yourself, because there's so many different facets of softball that you have to look at, player development, swinging, batting, base running. And it's very difficult to do it with just one person. So Chris has really kind of been a wonderful asset to me and to the team. And basically by having 2 daughters that have played for me, it's just really worked out. I'm very thankful for the Farrows. And there are a couple other Farrow boys coming up who are playing baseball for Danny. So the Farrow legacy at Hampton High is definitely going to be long-standing, definitely.
Well, there's strength in numbers, and that describes the Farrow family. They're a wonderful family and been supporting Hampton High for years. Lauren Farrow is really just one in a line you've developed over the past few years. You had Callie Morgan for 4 years, who was a terrific player.
Absolutely. Callie Morgan served as shortstop. She, too, actually played varsity her freshman year. She's at Radford now, and she was definitely an asset. Great. I always said that her softball IQ was one of the best. Great hitter, great base runner, great everything all around. She is an all-around great softball player. And her brother Trey, who's actually playing, for Danny Mitchell now, he's also a great player. And the Morgan family is just wonderful. Good group of people.
Well, what are you finding, having coached there 6 years? What's worked in your successes in drawing these good players and keeping the stream of young ladies coming into Hampton to play softball for you?
Excellent question. I think it's just exposure. Again, one of my greatest challenges taking over the program was the fact that Hampton High School, we've never been a powerhouse in softball. Never been there. And the beauty of it when I first started being able to work with Callie Morgan and Katie Farrow and a few others is just basically getting other girls to see that, oh, hey, softball is cool. Softball is something I like to do. And those girls were really served as ambassadors for the program because they would go out and convince other girls to come out and play. And some girls that may not have softball talent, but we've had a couple of girls who have really good arms, have a couple of girls who are really good hitters, a couple of girls who are really fast. So it's just all about bringing those pieces together and, just kind of learning to play small ball. So the fact that we've had so many good players come through, they've been the building blocks of the program, and they've been the ones who are, like I said, have been ambassadors and talking the program up and really encouraging other girls to come on out and give it a shot.
Well, I'm sure it's always a challenge. I know, and I'll be remiss if I don't mention that you have a young player named Hannah Beach who's been playing softball a number of years. Her parents are friends of mine, and she helped me get your telephone number and get a hold of you today. But
yes, absolutely.
You got young ladies like Hannah that come over there to be in the IB program, and we're moving into the stage of having academies at the Hampton High Schools. Is that causing you any trepidation about the academy's impact on athletics, in particular on softball?
Absolutely. And it's funny that you mentioned that because I was just having that conversation with a good friend of mine a couple of days ago. We're talking about, what will next year's athletic programs look like with the academies and students being able to select schools. And it's a few unknowns as how the academies will impact athletics, but it's something that, we'll have to look forward to. Change is always exciting. I just hope the change is going to be a benefit to the Hampton Crabbers. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Well, Coach, you talked about the great start. How are you going to have a great finish? What is it going to take for your team to finish the season off strong?
I just plan to continue doing what we're doing. You mentioned I have a great freshman in Hannah Beach. I actually have 4 freshmen on my varsity team this year, which kind of reminds me of the year that I had Callie Morgan and Katie Farrow. I had a really young team, so I'm really looking forward to this young team because I'll be able to work with them for the next couple of years. And again, like I said, they're really great ambassadors because they're the ones that encourage others to come to the program. So my goal is just to continue, play hard, play strong. One of the things that Chris and I really encourage the girls to do is, every day go out and give every day your best. And that's it. And, they understand that we're going to win some, we're going to lose some. And as long as they go out there and play their best, that's what I'm looking for. And my girls always give 110%, so I normally can't ask for anything more.
Well, I wanted to let you know that Wube and I mentioned your program last week because we understood that Morgan Wright had broken up the no-hitter in a game against a very strong Kickingham team. And then I saw her pictured it this week. Have you gotten her working on the mound?
Mm-hmm.
So you've got another young lady. You said you got 4 freshmen, but it sounds like they're really contributing this year.
Absolutely. Morgan Wright, and the girls call him Mo. I call him Mo too. Morgan, yes, that game against Kickingham where she ended the no-hitter, that was wonderful. It's almost like we actually won the game after she hit the ball. She's a great asset, too. She's another one who's been playing travel ball as well, has a great softball IQ. So she, Hannah, and my 2 other freshmen definitely look forward to them being big contributors. And playing Kickotan, that was one of, the better teams in the Peninsula District. And, ones that I always tell the girls, I was like, okay, well, we lost them in the first round, but we will see them again. And I said, when you see them again, you have an idea of what they're going to come at you with, so we should be better. And oftentimes when I've been coaching over the years, I always look at the first time we play a team and the second time we play a team. And I compare the 2 games. And I sit the girls down and explain to them, okay, well, these are the things that we didn't do the first game, so this is what I want you to do the second time we see them. And we always make improvements, and that's how you monitor progress. You have to look at growth, look at what they're doing right, and what we'll continue to do, and that's how we continue to build and win games.
Well, let me tell you, the excitement that you sensed at that point in the game was felt by the parents as well. I got a text at 8:18 p.m. that evening it said podcast headline, Big Night in Softball. HHS freshman Morgan Wright breaks KHS's no-hitter streak. So you're doing the good stuff over there, Coach, and you're building that program, and we look forward to seeing great things from the Crabbers this season and seasons to come.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I love the support, and I would be remiss if I did not mention the parents. The parents of all these young ladies they're my number one fans. A lot of parents, they come out in the cold, they come out in the rain, they come out in the wind, and as the weather changes here, they'll be out there in the hot sun. But they're the ones who really get me motivated and get me excited and get the girls excited. And that's kind of what Crabber softball is all about.
Well, that's terrific. Well, Coach, thank you for joining us on short notice today. We're glad to have you with us and look forward to talking with you many times in the future.
All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Y'all have a wonderful weekend. Thanks a lot. Appreciate the call.
Well, great to hear from Coach Wilson. I don't think I've met him in person, but it was so nice of him to take our call today and get him on the phone this evening because I know he's getting ready for this week next week.
Well, I mean, this is 6th year, his best start so far, and we talked about how Wayne Gomes came from Phoebus and was a football school. Well, you don't think of Hampton as a softball school, and one of his points were where they just need to come out and be aggressive on that tail end of the season and try to get some more wins.
Well, when you and I both having children in the system, we all are interested in how as academies are going to affect the balance of athletics in the city. So we're curious, and I'm sure the coaches feel the same way.
Well, he said the coaches have been talking about it, so we'll see what happens next season on the coming and goings of where kids are going, and they're going to pick this academy, they're going to go to IB program, so it's going to be interesting to see where kids are laying next year.
Well, and I want to thank Nancy Beach for helping us get a hold of Coach Wilson. I also want to remind the folks that these sports start up next week, Wube. I know you go back to being a soccer father over there in Bethel.
Yeah, we got our first game back on Tuesday. I think we're at Woodside, so I got to go up close to the York County line to see that one. But, but again, I know the kids need to they only have one practice. The problem is a lot of kids don't practice during spring break, so they only have one practice before their first game back. So that's going to be a tough deal for them.
So the Peninsula District cranks up. The Bay Rivers District is tight as it's been in years. Some great sports going on. You've got soccer, you got baseball, you got tennis, you got softball, and you got outdoor track. So there's a lot going on around the peninsula.
Yeah, I mean, the Bay Rivers baseball race is going to be tight. With Jamestown and Grafton, softball is going to always be War Hill back-to-back champs, and they're gonna have some teams fighting for that title. Peninsula District is going to be tough with Woodside and Minchville and Hampton for that baseball title. So it's going to be interesting to see Frank going down that stretch. Who's going to take that title to go to regionals?
It will be, and it's coming upon us quickly here now, and as we approach what will be the middle of April. There's lots of stuff going on around in all the other sports. We've talked a little bit about equestrian sports. The riders are over at the 4-H Center. They're over there in Wakefield this weekend. They're actually going to ride on Sunday this weekend because of the weather that's coming in. Hopefully this will be the last bit of winter-like weather we have here. And so the Hampton Roads Horse Show Series starts. Has its first show on Sunday. And then, as I said, all the public schools start back on Monday, so we'll have a slew of games Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of next week.
Yeah, they'll get back in the swing of things, and like I said, we're going to see what teams can propel themselves to the top, and what teams kind of stay middle of the pack. So it's going to be a great race though in all sports.
And then to stay on the high school level for a minute, we're going to follow all the young men and women as they start looking for college homes. We've seen some signings. We've seen some that have even some juniors that are starting to talk about where they're going to go. And the football players are starting to keep that eye out, especially the juniors as they approach the end of their 11th grade year.
Yeah, this is a big year for the junior. Your junior year, you go into the camps in the summer, and you want to get your colleges narrowed down by the end of the summer so you can make a choice in the fall. Yeah,
when you aren't riding roller coasters at Busch Gardens this week, you've been watching a little bit of the college sports around here, and we got some great baseball being played.
Yeah, I was taking a little break from it all, and got a chance to notice the Apprentice School was ranked number 1 in the U.S. Collegiate Athletic Association poll, coached by Brian Cave. His son obviously is on the AAA team, Rochester Red Wings. So
up there for the Twins, right?
For the Twins affiliate.
Twins organization.
And then the Christopher Newport softball team, Frank, they're 4th in Division III. They have a 12-game winning streak right now. So, I mean, they're playing great ball. So shout out to Christopher Newport and the Apprentice School for doing a great job.
And if you haven't been up to Christopher Newport recently, the softball field is back on the back side of the school. So you go down Shoe Lane, take a right. I think it may even be Wright Street. But go in the back where the football, lacrosse field, and the softball and baseball diamonds are. These games you can just walk in and watch some really great college sports. And then the Apprentice School playing at War Memorial Stadium on Pembroke Avenue in Hampton. So lots of good stuff going on.
Yeah, one more thing I want to add. Rick Mahorn is being inducted into the Virginia Sports Hall of Fame down in Virginia Beach. Of course, he was a Hampton Institute player. He's still the all-time leading scorer, over 2,000 points in his career. So people forget about Rick Mahorn that he went to Hampton. It was Hampton Institute back then. It was the early 80s, I guess.
I don't forget about him. We had a pickup game when I got to meet one of those elbows, which many of the NBA guys met. Ricky Mahorn was a terrific player, went on and played, won a title with the Detroit Pistons. We'll bail in with a story I was telling the students over at Christopher Newport last night. We had a case that referenced Isaiah Thomas. And one of the young people in the class said, "Which one?" And I had to say the good one, the one that won 2 titles in the pros and 1 title at Indiana University.
Yes.
So, but Ricky Mahorn, of course, played with Isaiah in Detroit and brought a title to the Motor City, first title they had in a long time.
Yep, won in 1989, part of the Bad Boys, as people like to call them when they used to beat up people in the court where fouls weren't called. You could clothesline them and body slam them. They wouldn't call anything. It's great to see him go in the Hall of Fame. He's going there with Frank Beamer and a few other people, in that induction ceremony tomorrow night.
Well, again, if you want to see some of these folks, I know there are probably still tickets available to that event this weekend. And just drop by one of the ballparks over there at Christopher Newport or down at War Memorial Stadium. And, of course, we're our guest last week, athletic director over at Thomas Nelson.
Chad Smith, yeah.
Chad's going to have his players out again on the diamonds and around the area. So keep an eye on Thomas Nelson's schedule as well.
Yes, support your local sports, please. Support. Yeah, we're here to help promote the sports, but they still need your support. Got to come out and support a lot of these local athletes.
And take your young folks out, and especially the kids. Get the kids out there to see that there is this next level and what it takes to get there. And feel free to pull these players in college aside and ask them what got them there. We're going to have a show for you later this spring where we're going to bring in some local athletes from college and hopefully give some advice to the high schoolers about how to get to that next level.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times when kids, see the product and they see, how they got there, and they can explain how they got there, it might, resonate better from a personal story. And that will definitely help if they can see how they got there, ask them questions, and, and just kind of bounce off, like a sponge, bounce off of them and see what they say, how they got there. Well,
we're in high season of spring sports. Glad you could be with us. Follow our show on Twitter at PennSportsPod, PennSportsPod, or you can find us on YouTube at Penn Sports, all one word, podcast. Search that, and you can get now 12 episodes.
That's right.
And follow us on those. Subscribe to the YouTube channel for us. And again, coaches, if you want to get on, talk about your program, we want to have you. We'd love to talk to you. And just give us a call or send us a message on Twitter, and we'll be glad to get back to you real quick. Well, we want to thank Randy Begoli. He's off for the next week, going out to visit that family fun town out there in the West. You know, the home of what good, clean family fun, according to the Dodgeball movie. Going out to Vegas.
Yeah.
So if we don't see Randy again, we want to thank him for all the service to the Penn Sports Podcast. He's done a great job. But
and if he calls you from there, don't pick up.
That's right.
Because we know what that means, right?
Thanks for being with us this week. We'll talk to you next week. Penn Sports Podcast, episode 12 in the book.
See ya.